In this episode, Malcolm the seller gives us an overview of his motorcycle, including some historical details and some time frames. Malcolm clearly loves this motorbike, and it was a very reluctant sale.
There you go. But it's nice and clean. I mean, it's
fantastic.
It's very, very good condition. I mean, you didn't like the back rail, but actually you'll find when you come to put it on a stand and move it around, this strong bar is quite useful. This was not, having a carrier on the back was not the original item.
No,
and this gives you some protection anyway on the light. And
yeah,
it's solid
yeah.
aluminium, so it's but it's not, I mean, if you want it authentic, then clearly it's wrong.
It's not really me authentic. I prefer to
No.
use it.
Personally, I would leave it. You'll find it's useful to have.
Yeah.
You can always buy a carrier for it.
And that's the new casing. That black casing is.
It originally had chrome, and the chrome started flaking off. It was horrible.
Oh, it had chrome.
Yes, I don't know if it had been chromed or by the original owner, but it started flaking off.
Right.
And I thought chrome is not a good idea on aluminium, so I found this black one. It's in very, very good condition. No scratches or anything.
Superb.
And
Superb.
actually, I prefer the look of it.
Oh, it's got some Goodrich hoses.
Yes,
Oh, so that swinging arm's non-standard, is it?
It's a nice, even the original was used to bend, you know.
Right.
This one's really solid.
Right.
Now, why you mention that, I've got a few tools for you. When you come eventually to do the carburetors,
Yeah.
the slow running jets are underneath them.
Okay.
And you use this special tool, you see? So you can go in.
And
I'll never
rotate.
use this again. So you
No,
can
not
have
at
it.
all. Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's designed for the bike. There's a little bit of tubing. There's a tool
Oh,
kit.
yeah.
Which is not bad.
That's
I
cool.
did wash it, but it needs washing again. You
That's
want
cool.
to soak it in some biological detergent if you want to make it even cleaner. It's got,
So is that original? Is that
it's original.
that's as it came? Is
It's even
it?
got Honda written on a lot
Right.
of the tools.
Oh,
So there's that, which is hopefully will be useful. And there's a bit of rotten tubing. There's this thing which if you need to take, and I suggest you do take new clutch plates, and they're not very expensive.
right.
Because it hasn't been used for so long, they've sort of got oil in them, which they're meant to because it's bathed in oil.
Yeah.
But it's sticky.
Right.
And even when you release it, move it backwards and forwards, you release the plates, they still stick, and so do not start it with it on the ground, even if you've got the clutch open, because there's so much friction.
Yeah.
Pull
Pull it. Yeah.
So you need to do that, quite frankly.
And
I
that's
should have done it, but
that's
I didn't.
part of the
That's to get the nut off.
removal.
Yeah, you get the nut off. So there's that. In the clutch there were rubber bungs, and it's got rubber vibration dampers, and these are the original ones.
Right.
They cause the clutch basket to rattle.
Yeah,
so when it
yeah,
was
yeah,
ticking over, you'd hear this, oh, what's wrong with the engine? But it was only the clutch rattling. It's not it's a design fault. They all do it. But I put in what is supposed to be a kit, which cuts down the vibration, so it should be better. It does need new rubber pipes though for heat.
Yeah, and the new
all that
petrol.
sort of stuff. Now this tool,
Yeah.
not to scratch your back with.
Yeah.
It's simply to adjust the rear suspension. So what you do, you undo that with an Allen key.
Yeah.
And you do the same on the other side, and you twist it. This rotates, and it lifts the wheel up and down because the wheel is mounted off centre.
Right. To tighten the chain.
You tighten the chain.
Yes.
The thing you need to do is when you do tighten it, make sure that it tightens with the wheel at its lowest point. You can also tighten it when the wheel is at its highest point, but then the bike is riding such that you'll never get it on the stand. It's so low you can't unless you're very strong.
Yeah, right. Yes.
But it's very rigid. I think it's got a ball race or something at the other end. I can't remember now.
right.
But it's extremely rigid.
The swinging arm.
The swing arm,
Yes.
as you can see. The
Yes,
original
yes.
was just tubes. It was totally under-designed
Right,
for the weight
right,
and power of the
right.
bike.
Right.
So it makes it more stable.
And then that's a 6-into-1 stainless steel
It's 6
exhaust.
into 1. It's a very good quality one. It's not original. It's obviously not original. There was a choice when I bought it. You could have 6-into-2 or 6-into-1, but I quite like this with a slightly cappy racer style.
Yeah.
Changed the sound of it though, because the the pitch is obviously twice the frequency coming out of one pipe, so maybe it doesn't have the slight deep-throatedness that a twin
Right,
source would have.
right.
But I wouldn't change that until you think, get used to it.
Yeah.
Is this okay or not? I want a twin sort of thing.
Oh, fantastic.
And it also means it's not quite as wide, so I quite like it. I think it looks nice with one.
Yeah.
Whether it affects the performance, I haven't a clue. It was designed for the bulb.
So what's that's the chain
There's a
cover,
chain
is
guard,
it?
which I
No.
haven't put back on because I can't get at it and I've taken it
Right.
I hope all the bolts are here. There's two parts to it. There's the outer cover, and then there's this black thing.
Oh yeah, I'm
There's a
familiar with
spacer.
that. Yeah.
And there's a little chrome-plated guard which goes on as well.
Right.
But, there are on the. I think there's one or two rubber washers on the bolts which seal it to stop oil dripping out, and those need replacing really. But probably David Silver would.
Yeah.
That would be a QP or 10p or 10.
Yeah.
So I'd look. I hope all the bolts are there. I've tried because I had bits littered around.
I might even put those bolts in before we
Well, see.
go,
to
just
see
so
if
as I
they're
know
there.
where they live.
Absolutely.
Um,
So what
Right.
else is there? There is put it now. I thought it was there's a broken rubber pipe which is a breather for the crankcase.
mhm.
I swear I put it in. Where's it gone? But it's got a crack in it, so it's no good.
Right.
So you need one of those. But again, I think either you fabricate one, or David Silver would probably
Yes,
be able to
yes,
supply,
yes.
because it's a well-known pipe. So there's no breather pipe in it.
And then there's a tank, and then there's some crash
Tank is
bars.
there,
Yeah.
there's crash bars. Crash bars in excellent condition.
Fantastic.
The chrome on the carrier had all gone. This bit was not bad. There's a little bit of mottling on that, but I polished it up. But the actual carrier and the bit which went up and across, that was rubbish really. I think it had been a cheap add-on, it wasn't very well made. That's to adjust the clutch. This is the clutch in here,
Yeah.
and you can take this, just screws off, and then you can adjust it so that when you squeeze the clutch, it's right. You just get it so it's about to engage, but there's just a tiny bit,
Yeah.
so it's not dragging at all.
Right, let's have a little interlude. In the first episode, I introduced you to Malcolm the Seller, who's a relative of mine. I showed this photograph, suggesting it was taken in the 1970s. However, it was actually taken sometime between 1964 and 1966. So I was only a decade out. Malcolm's father was the brother of my grandmother, so that's how the family relationship works. Here's my favourite photo of Malcolm, taken in 1973. I'm loving the Jaguar 420, the Afghan coat and the long hair. Here's another photograph of the Jaguar 420, but without the engine. In the foreground is a classic British Triton, a Triumph T100 engine in a Norton featherbed frame.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
amazing.
if you clean the carburetors, you have to take them off, and that's great fun. I've got a manual for it. I'll tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
But it's quite a task. You have to undo these bolts each side. You have to take out this rod, and you have to support the engine underneath, and then it rocks forward.
Yes.
Loosen the chain, obviously, and it will rock forward, so you can then get access to this. It disconnects from the air
Airflow.
intake.
Yeah.
And the carburetors are held on with rubber rings, and you have to undo these clips. It's quite a fiddle.
Yeah.
It's not something to be
No.
to do in an afternoon. Probably
Yeah.
once you've done it, you do it
Yeah.
much quicker the second
Yeah.
time. So you'll have fun with that if you take it, which you probably will have to do. I would suggest. I'll try and get it going first, and if it proves to be a problem,
Yes.
And I think it's quite brave to take it apart if you haven't done one before. I mean, it's not impossible, but I stopped at that point. I wasn't prepared to do it.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I mean, it may not need it. You might find it works okay. When you do try to start it, what I suggest is once you've sorted out the rubber piping and things, you put a funnel in place bypassing the vacuum valve. There's a vacuum valve here, which is a cut-off for the petrol. So if the engine stops, it cuts the petrol off, so it doesn't flood out.
Right, yeah.
But if there's a blockage, and for example the float valve is stuck on the carburetor, it will then drain out through the bottom. So when you first pour the petrol in, look to make sure there's not petrol flowing out. If there is, it tells you that one of the float valves
hasn't
shut. When things are, I have to say, when they're stuck for several years, these things get sticky. It's got a voltmeter which tells you the state of your battery, which works okay, obviously RPM. Miles per hour, mileage 19,498,
fantastic,
which is genuine, so it's not particularly high mileage. I have a feeling, now this I cannot remember, but I think when I started overhauling the brakes a few years ago, I think I put new pads in. Pads are certainly okay. Sure they're okay. The headlamp is fine, nice chrome around it. I think it's stainless because it's never tarnished. Mudguards are in good condition. The tank is in good condition.
Smashing.
The tank had elements of rust in it, so I cleaned it. What's it called? PQ 15 or something, but it dissolves rust. And then I got one of those kits where you line the inside of the tank, and I shaped all around. So it is.
Oh,
so the tank should be
fantastic.
fine. And it's got a new valve on the tank here.
A tap, a petcock or whatever.
Yeah. It's got two positions. One allows you to access the reserve. The other is normal running. So
And
quite a lot.
the paint job, is that because the original paint was...
It was silver originally.
Yes.
And probably right or wrongly, I didn't want the silver. I wanted it red.
But what I'm saying is, underneath here was the paint good?
Oh, it wasn't a problem.
No.
I took it. It was professionally done.
Right.
It was baked and all done nice. But it's not
Lovely.
original. But if I was going to finish it off, you can buy it with the decal kits.
I've seen them.
Um,
Yeah.
Depends whether you want the original colour or not.
Yes.
No scratches, I don't think.
Excellent.
There's no, as far as I can tell, there's no chrome done on the front shocks. The stanchion.
Yeah, I understand.
Horn work. And these, you see, they're slightly dusty, but they're not scratched.
Oh no.
These just clip on. There's just rubber.
Yeah, I've got you.
You push on. Very easy. Takes
And
10
did
minutes.
paperwork go here on that Velcro? Looks as if you perhaps had a,
No, that's just to protect it.
Oh, stop it rubbing.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Right.
Good question.
Ah,
Maybe there
dude.
was a book where I've never seen anything
Who
stuck to it.
knows?
So you can see it's even got paint on it. So I've never
Who
seen
knows?
anything stuck to it. Don't know. Is the answer.
No, I'm sure.
The seat comes off very easily. There's just two clips here. See?
Oh yeah.
You just undo those two. It lifts up. You take it off. That's all. So you get at the battery instantly. The battery goes in. The side. There's a little door at the side that opens. The screw is here. You'll see it better when it's out. And the battery just slots in, and two connectors for the power.
Amazing.
Tyres, well, when I put it in the garage, they just had new tyres put on. So I've never actually
Driven them.
They're not new in the sense that they're probably, I don't know, 10 years old, maybe 15 years old. Time's gone by. This I kept more to, because I was a bit like you, I always wanted one, but I never actually rode it very much because I had the Honda Goldwing.
Right.
And I just sort of kept it as a nice thing. So, I mean, honestly, I don't know, I've probably done a couple of thousand miles.
Right.
Since mid-80s.
So you bought it in the mid-80s?
I bought, yes, it was probably about 84, 85, I think. It wasn't very old.
No.
It looked wonderful the day I bought it. It was like new.
Right.
And I bought it from a proper Honda garage. I'm not going to ride it, so
No, it's
having got it in reasonable condition, I thought now is the time.
It's fantastic. It's
So
fantastic.
yeah, I think with a few bits checked out, it's a fundamentally good machine.
No, can't wait. Can't wait.
So you have great fun with it.
Can't wait. Yes.
And yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
there you go. Choppers. There are. Here's another hours of fun you'll have. There we go. That's
Amazing.
it.
Right. Well, we'll
That feels all right.
we'll pull her out if you're happy.
Yes,
and
let's get the
well-
loose bits in the
yes, yes, yes.
Please subscribe to ensure you don't miss episode 3. Within the 3rd episode, I will take a look over the CBX myself and get a feel for the restoration work required.